Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, March 17th, so we're halfway through week 8. I just wanted to check in. Hopefully everybody had a nice spring break last week. I know you all probably had a lot of other things to do, but hopefully having no work for this class was a help. So there's quite a bit of work here. I am working through grading Essay 2. Those should be all done by Friday. Just a few reminders about that. And as you continue to work on your essays in Essay 3, you're seeing the prompt this week, and you do have an assignment due. Always run, if you're typing in Word or Google Docs or something, run a spell and grammar checker. Those are really helpful tools for all writers at all levels. So, if it doesn't find anything, great, and if it recommends changes based on spelling, typos, grammar, go ahead and make those changes, because I am seeing in some of these final drafts errors that I know Google would catch, or not Google, excuse me, Word, the Word spell and grammar checker would catch. So do make sure you run those checks. I have posted 2 readings, right? So they're both on this concept of the tiger parent, right? The parent who really encourages, if we want to say it one way, their child. But if we look at it another way, maybe it's beyond encouragement and it's actually harmful, right? The parent who really kind of pushes their child to try to achieve success in some area, and it can be harmful. So you're reading both of these. Essay 3 is asking about this concept of the role that the parent plays, and it doesn't have to actually be a parent, right? It could be any guardian, anyone who is in this position in a child's life of influence and authority. But specifically, this paper is asking you about the story of Lang Lang, a pianist from China. And you're welcome to dig a little further. You have to read the Green Street article, but there is more, and the Anwar, Yasmin Anwar article. So you're reading these 2, but you can do some more digging, right? There are TED Talks. There's a lot out there. You don't have to go read a whole book, and you're not required to do any additional reading. But to better inform yourself, you might want to, if you have the time, you might want to dig around a little bit further. Again, not required, but just an idea, because you are writing a 4-page essay on this topic. So you have to have a thesis, which answers the prompt, and then you have to support your thesis with examples, with evidence, right? So you're going to be citing Green Street and Anwar. And remember, when we cite, that means we're either quoting them directly, paraphrasing, or summarizing, okay? Certainly Gladwell. You can anything that we've read in Outliers. And then, like I said, if you do any additional research, you're welcome to cite those sources too. So the question, was Lang Lang's father, while Lang Lang's father may have made mistakes, overall, was he right or wrong for pushing, sorry, little Freudian slip there, for pushing his son to achieve success? Okay, I said punishing. That's not the prompt. Maybe he was punishing his son. I don't know. That's your opinion. You might have that opinion. So again, you must cite. Refer to means you have to cite, paraphrase, quote, or summarize. And if you're quoting, don't quote too much. When you submit a paper, and that Turnitin gives you a percentage, right? If you're more than, in a 4-page paper, or really in any length of paper, but if you're more than 25% similarity rate, that might mean that you're quoting too much, or you're plagiarizing, which I hope is not going to be the case. So be mindful of that percentage when you do the Turnitin report. If you have something like 20, higher than 25, 30, certainly 40, 50, that's way too similar. That means you've either plagiarized or you're quoting too much. Half of your paper, 50% of your paper should not be material from somewhere else, right? So you should paraphrase more, okay, and summarize. So again, you have to cite Green Street and Anwar. You can also use Outliers, and you can use additional sources that you might find on your own. So basically, you have to read and understand the 2 articles. What is tiger parenting? And then you're forming an opinion, and that's your claim, that's your thesis. Was the father right or wrong to push his son? Okay. Again, we're looking at 4 pages, double spaced, following all MLA guidelines in terms of formatting, so 12-point Times New Roman font, all that good stuff. You will have a works cited page, so you're at least citing Green Street and Anwar. You're listing them. If you're using Gladwell and Outliers, that's on your works cited page as well. So that could be possibly 3 items, 3 sources, and then if you find anything else that you're using on your own, that also has to go on your works cited page. The works cited page, right, is literally it's a list in alphabetical order of the works, the books, the articles, the films, the interviews, whatever, that you cited in your paper. That's why it's called a works cited page, right? So you do need to have that for this. MLA requires that, and we need to see that here in this 3rd essay. There are some additional guidelines you can read through. Make sure you look through. These are mostly unchanged from essays 1 and 2. So in terms of due dates, we're looking at this coming Sunday. You're submitting 2 things, but it can be 1 document. You don't have to submit 2 separate files. An outline, and it can be, I'm not looking for any kind of formal structured outline. If you just want to bullet point or number it, whatever makes sense to you visually. But what I want to see is a topic sentence for every body paragraph, and then at least bullet or numbered points of the evidence that you think you're going to use, okay? And include on that, in that same doc, a rough draft of your introduction. So remember, an introduction to a basic academic essay, we're looking for 5 to 7 sentences. First sentence or 2 is the hook. Try to catch the reader, pull them in, okay? The next couple sentences are the development of the idea. So you want to introduce Green Street's article, right? Make sure you cite her. Who is Lang? We don't know. Remember, you're writing for someone who has not read these articles, okay? You're not writing for me necessarily, though I do critique and evaluate your work, but you're writing for someone. Imagine someone who has no idea who, about what tiger parenting is. They did not read Rosanna Greenstreet's article. They did not read Yasmin Anwar's article. They did not read Outliers, right? So think about that when you explain things. You don't want to say, and this is important because I'm still seeing this from people in essay 2, and I saw it in essay 1 and I commented on it. You don't want sentences like, in my class I read, or in chapter 3 in the book we're reading, right? This isn't you talking and reflecting on being in a class necessarily. This is you writing for some outside audience, right? So remove the class and the fact that this is an assignment from your writing, okay? Particularly now as we're moving into essay 3. There's one more full-length essay in the class, and so for essay 3, I don't want to see those kind of sentences where you say, in my class we are reading this. An average reader doesn't need to know that, right? You're just a writer who's read 2 articles and are answering a question about the help or the harm of tiger parenting, okay? So you have to define tiger parenting, because again, your audience has not read the articles. They don't know what that is. Okay, so yes, that's what's due Sunday. Looking ahead to next week, a full draft, all 4 pages. It could be a rough draft, but I want to see all 4 pages by the 28th. Excuse me. In the sidebar of the assignment, in the comments, you're going to list 2 to 3 areas for improvement that I've noted in the essay 2 feedback. It could also be from the essay 1 feedback, and explain how you addressed those areas as you worked on this essay. And then the final, perfect, beautiful, wonderful draft is due April 4th. Okay. All right, let's see what else this week. This is getting a little long. I meant to be quick. The midterm, yes, that's due tonight. If you need an extension, please let me know. The midterm is due tonight. Please, email me if you have questions. Try to limit yourself to 2 hours. You're kind of on your honor system sort of thing there. It's not actually timed. The final will be timed. When you open it, it will start counting down and it will close. That's not happening here for the midterm, but try to stick to 2 hours. And then there is a quiz on They Say, I Say. Okay, so that's this week. I will check back in next week. Email me if you have questions, and I hope you all have a great rest of the week. And happy St. Patrick's Day to anyone who observes that. And I hope you're all doing well. And I'll see you all at some point in office hours or via email or however we communicate. All right, everybody, take care.